Hey, my name is Anthony and I want to ask you a question. Would you know how to save a stranger, a friend, or even someone from your own family, a loved one? What would you do if one of them, God forbid, collapsed right in front of you? Watch this small presentation and I'll reveal to you what to do in these situations as well as a trick to help you focus and immediately jump into action. Sound good? But first, a warning. To be fair to the thousands of people that are already using these techniques, I'm keeping this video exclusive for a very small number of viewers. You probably stumbled upon this video through one of my friends or partners. However you found it, I can't guarantee it's going to be up for long. See, this is the only opportunity you will have to see this video all the way through and learn secrets that only the best physicians in the world know. Now, it doesn't matter if you're 12 or 82, if you're a male or a female, or even if you're a geek or an adrenaline junkie. I can train you to control your fears and immediately jump into action by performing CPR like a professional. So, if you're ready to finally know what to do when something happens to the people you care about and have a sense of confidence and security when you're walking through the world, this is going to be the most important webinar you'll ever see. So watch it right till the end and I'm going to give you immediate access to emergency techniques like CPR that are only revealed to the best physicians in the world. So, if you fear not knowing what to do when one of your friends chokes on her food or when you witness a car accident, then you owe it to yourself to watch this video. But before I reveal my secrets to you, I want to tell you my story. I want to make sure you understand that before I discovered this very effective system, I was no different than you. In fact, I was probably worse. I used to faint at the sight of blood. And today, well, you can't really brag about saving lives, but the look on the person's face after you saved her with CPR gives you a unique and impossible to explain feeling. So, how did I go from watching it happen to making it happen? Well, at the time I was a freshman at medical school. And I know what you're thinking. I got into medical school. I had already achieved the hard part. It should have been really easy to learn CPR for me, right? Well, not so fast. Confession time. Even though I loved the idea of being an action taker that saves life with his bare hands, I used to not be able to act under pressure. And guess what? In a situation where there are human lives at stake, there is always pressure. Let me give you an example. When I was 20 years old, I went with some friends to an amusement park. Now, keep in mind I had learned how to perform CPR about 6 months ago. As we were in line to get into one of their most famous attractions, I noticed this girl about 50 feet away from us. She was hyperventilating, which basically means she was breathing really fast. It was a classic sign of a panic attack and I knew this. So, was I able to immediately step in and guide her through the situation? Not really. At one point, this girl falls on the floor, hitting her head on one of those iron bars they use to keep the line in place. You know, those iron bars. You'd expect someone out of the hundreds of people present to know what to do. Well, you were wrong. Everybody started panicking, not really knowing what to do, and definitely not giving the girl the space she needed. Me, I was frozen and couldn't even move. One of my friends who knew that I had already learned CPR urged me to go and started pushing the people away so I could get near this girl. So I got to the girl, and what do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I had totally forgotten all the techniques that needed to be applied in that situation. It was embarrassing. Eventually, the paramedics from the park arrived and took her away. They saved her. But do you want to know the worst part? Worse than the sheer humiliation, worse than the fact that I could have prevented that poor girl from hitting her head, worse than all of that, I was useless. I still didn't have the ability to just step into this situation and save the day. So after that incident, I promised myself I was going to master the art of CPR and other emergency procedures. So on my own free time, I retook the basic life support class from medical school. I started learning everything I could about the perfect technique in order to perform CPR like a professional, under the most nefarious conditions. I also bought courses about controlling your fears and handling the pressure created by those intense moments. I traveled the world and went to seminars hosted by world-renowned doctors that taught me this stuff personally. After all of this, I started teaching other people. I gave back all of the knowledge accumulated through the years, and it felt great. However, I had limited success. Why? Well, who wants to spend precious free time in order to drive to some random location and attend a course about CPR when you know you're going to forget everything in a few months? Then receive a certificate valid for 6 months to a year, if you're lucky, and on top of all that, pay from $100 to $200 depending on where you live. Not to mention other difficulties, like what if you get a bad instructor? What if you learn the techniques but don't know how to apply them in the heat of the moment, like it happened to me? So instead, I decided to create a very efficient system that will make it easy for everyone to learn CPR and other basic emergency procedures at the comfort of their own homes. My name is Anthony Mello, and I am the creator of the brand new breakthrough program called the How to Save a Life system. Inside, you're going to easily and with no effort learn everything you need to know about basic care, from CPR to airway obstructions to special cases. You will know how to handle heart attacks, drowning victims, trauma cases, airway obstructions, and even other special cases such as pregnancy or children. I will also install in your mind the right set of beliefs that will allow you to immediately act under any circumstance, no matter how bad the situation is. Finally, after you learn and absorb all of this knowledge, I will give you a system that won't allow you to forget any piece of important information. Not to mention, you can go through this course as many times as you want. It will always be available for you to access it. And for all of these reasons, the How to Save a Life system will change your life. Which brings me to the initial situation. What would you do if one of your loved ones collapsed right in front of you? So, the first thing you need to do is take a deep breath. And you will notice things will start to slow down, trust me. Since time is of the essence, you want to immediately start assessing the situation. You do this by checking if the victim is conscious. Tap his or her shoulders and ask loudly, "Can you hear me?" And I want to do this loudly. Can you hear me? If the victim responds, you're fine. He or she is conscious and breathing, and you can act accordingly. If a person is unconscious but is breathing and has no other life-threatening conditions, they should be placed in the recovery position or safety position, which I will explain inside the system. It's the same position, just different names for it. If the victim is unconscious and not breathing, you want to immediately start the CPR maneuvers. So, go ahead and click the Download Now button. You will get all of these for only $47, the price of a good book. And this is a discount, by the way. Also, if you're not happy with this system in the next 60 days, so 2 months, I will give you your money back. There's no risk. So, what are you waiting for? Download now and solve this area of your life for good.